Presenting sponsor of this year's event is Ocala Grand Prix, a full-service kart racing facility and nationally recognised racing venue, only a short drive from Orlando. OGP offers racing kart sales and service, as well as corporate events, driving school and trackside support team. As a dealer for Tony Kart, CRG, Rotax and Mojo, OGP can help any racer, new or experienced. OcalaGrandPrix.com. PSL Karting, a Quebec, Canada-based company with a branch in the USA, provides sales, product support and engine service for a full line of CRG and Rotax products. PSL Karting also offers one of the strongest trackside support programs available at major karting events throughout North America. PSLKarting.com. Here we go. Do we get a first timer? It looks that we do. Yes, we do. And it's Anthony Ganji Jr. followed by Philip Varner going into turn one. And wouldn't like to call with certainty who that is in row three. A little bit of touch in there and a couple of guys going out onto the dusty stuff. But Anthony Ganji from pole position, holding off the initial, what shall we say, enquiries for opportunities to take the lead. That's by Philip Varner. I think that's Neil Verhagen who I'm looking at in fourth place, and therefore that's probably Matthias Ramirez in third. Ooh, and a little bit more of a nudge there. Anthony Ganji, Philip Varner, Matthias Ramirez, Neil Verhagen is my call without total conviction, although I'm pretty sure I've got you the first couple right. It's a 14-lap race, so the longest race that these youngsters have engaged in the whole of the weekend. Their final race, the final. Miller Motorsports Park, 9/10 of a mile. They've done one of their 14 laps. Well, we had called you the first four accurately. So that's David Malukas in fifth place, so I guess that gets my afternoon off to a good start with accurately identifying that front five. Anthony Ganji leads. Philip Varner is in second place. Matthias Ramirez third. Neil Verhagen fourth. David Malukas fifth. And then there's a little bit of a gap before the rest of the field come through, as you can see now. Very, very well spread because of that little touching at the turn one and turn two parts on the opening circuit. But this train of five at the front, Ganji, Varner, Ramirez, Verhagen and Malukas. Not much between them all, except that Anthony Ganji's just pulled a little bit away, hasn't he? Kart length perhaps, but hey, this is Micromax. Things change, and things change in the twinkling of an eye. We're on the loop at the far end of the home straightaway, a very long straight. They're on it now, heading towards the end of lap two. And at the end of lap two, those positions are all unchanged. Turning 90 degrees right at turn one, 90 degrees right at turn two, and then a left-hand turn at turn three to go into the complex with a group of sweeping curves and chicanes. And this is onto the back straight now. The back straight does go the whole length of the straight on one configuration, but these guys turning in to a straight opposite the start line until they go back onto now. That is the back straight as it would have been had you continued all the way along. Front two just now a little bit clear of the others, Anthony Ganji and Philip Varner. Anthony Ganji with a lighter coloured helmet, Philip Varner with a predominantly red race suit. That's perhaps but your best recognition. In third place, Matthias Ramirez in a light coloured trim on the kart and a light coloured helmet. Those three just pulling away a fraction from David Malukas in front of Neil Verhagen. Coming down to turn one with the front three, definitely a couple of lengths in front of fourth and fifth. Well, I say a couple of lengths, that's dropped to one, hasn't it? Because Philip Varner got slowly out of that turn, and not only has he been caught by Matthias Ramirez, but he's under pressure from him. This takes any kind of immediate pressure off Anthony Ganji in the front, who's now free to kick away. But it's Micromax racing, and it doesn't quite work like that. They close up And as I say, in the twinkling of an eye, what appeared to be a significant lead is reduced. He has got a kart lengths lead though. Have to say, Anthony Ganji just done a 67.45 when Philip Varner's done a 67.3 and Matthias Ramirez done a 67.3. So the guys in second and third place, particularly the guy in second place, going quicker than the leader. They're coming down to start lap 5. Well, the breakaway 3, or rather the front 3, are now the front 2. This remains Anthony Ganji and Philip Varner. Anthony Ganji, the defending champion. Well, Anthony Ganji in kart number 407, mentioned moments ago. He was the 2010 US Grand National champion in this class. He's also the Florida Winter Tour Micromax champion, so young as he is, just 9 years of age. He's used to having the mantle of champion on his shoulders, and that means he's used to winning races and he's used to racing at the front. Oh, that's a nice turn, wasn't it, by the second place driver Philip Varner, who took a little bit of, well, a good, half a length off Anthony Ganji's lead there. Just a very attacking and aggressive turn, and when Anthony Ganji might have been thinking, hey, I'm pulling away, that was closed up quite quickly. Well, this is the start of lap 6. Anthony Ganji's quick time 67.4 on that lap, but David Malukas in third place has done a 67.3. So David Malukas, going past Matthias Ramirez into third place, is the guy who's going fastest. And again, the breakaway 2 is not a breakaway 2 anymore, is it? It's the leader followed by a 4. The leader, Anthony Ganji Jr., had quarter of a second at the end of that lap, and that's about what it would look to have been maintained. And a good effort that by the champion, seeking to retain his title. Not been racing Micromax for so long, and again, do you see that turn by Philip Varner? Very, it didn't actually take anything off Anthony Ganji, but he's pulled away a little bit from David Malukas. Does aggressively attack that particular turn, and it works. Anthony Ganji Jr. coming on to the end, or the start of the home straight, and this will be the end of lap 6. So we're going down to lap 7 in a 14-lap Micromax final. Turn 1, Anthony Ganji, Philip Varner, David Malukas 3. Very close attention in fourth place by Matthias Ramirez. And in fact, has Matthias Ramirez gone past? Yes, I think he has. Fifth place, definitely Neil Verhagen. And those 5 are well clear of the rest of the field, headed by sixth place Michael Dorlando, seventh place Giovanni Bramante. Anthony Ganji Jr. holding off the challenge from Philip Varner. But it's a very real and it's a very potent challenge. Philip Varner as close now to the race leader as he has been for any part of the race. And Philip Varner, with the capability of making these really tight turns without losing the speed. You see how he just pulled away a bit from David Malukas, doing exactly that. So we're at the half race distance. 7 laps gone, 7 to go. 7 laps gone, 7 to go in the Micromax final. We're here at the Miller Motorsports Park, 15 miles due west of Salt Lake City, Utah. We're in Tuella County. You're listening to the Kart Racing Network, broadcasting live to the world. 7.5. Oh, and a quick glance over the shoulder there by race leader Anthony Ganji, and he's caught napping. Wow, that was a blast from nowhere, really, wasn't it? David Malukas having got himself on a real slingshot there. Well, I mentioned earlier on that things can change in a twinkling of an eye by these Micromax drivers, and it's true. Front 2 pulled away a little bit from the other 3. Well, now, the start of the second half of the race. How much of a different complex are we to see in these later stages? Philip Varner holding the advantage on Anthony Ganji Jr. David Malukas going through. Sorry, David Malukas holding the advantage over Anthony Ganji Jr. Going through in the lead from Anthony. Neil Verhagen third, and Philip Varner it was dropping through down to fourth. Matias Ramirez be a little bit detached down now in fifth place. The third, fourth and fifth are a bit detached from the front two, and Matias Ramirez marginally detached from fourth place driver, but we've still got a fabulous battle at the front. It was a great scrap between Anthony Ganji and Philip Varner, and then David Malukas came from nowhere, came on the wide outside, didn't he, from third to first, and spare a thought then for the guys who felt that they were inviolable, but that's racing, that's the way it goes. David Malukas holding on narrowly to this tiny margin as we come towards the end of lap 9. Left-handed onto the home straightaway. The difference at the end of the previous lap was 0.071. The difference at the end of this lap is 0.071. So not a lot changing. Plus sa chance. Oh, and is that going to be an attempt? No, by Ganji. I think probably it was merely the way that he placed himself, but momentarily you thought, is he going to try to dive on the tight inside? Would have been a big gamble. And hey, there's time yet. This is 9.5 laps in a 14-lap race, so there's no call for desperate measures yet. Your race leader, David Malukas, holding the advantage over Anthony Ganji Jr. David Malukas in kart 479. Anthony Ganji in kart 407. I guess Anthony Ganji will feel that this is his race, his title, having won last year. Won't take too kindly to somebody wanting to usurp his #1 status. But there's no move on here for Anthony Ganji, the champion. David Malukas taking just a little drift there, as you saw. Our television cameras caught that perfectly. Just a little drift. So, on the 11th lap, 4 to go, including this one, are we seeing the first signs of a little bit of tyre wear? It's really intense stuff, isn't it? This is 10 tenths from both of them. David Malukas holds the advantage over Anthony Ganji. Philip Varner back in third place. Neil Verhagen fourth. Matias Ramirez in fifth. But there you see the third and fourth place drivers, Philip Varner and Neil Verhagen. But Matias Ramirez off to the right of your screen, just coming into view now. So it really is these front four, isn't it, for the championship and for the podium positions. Who's your money on? Let me ask a simpler question. Can Philip Varner and Neil Verhagen in positions 3 and 4 get up to the front two? Or have the front two made it their chase to the flag from here? We're starting lap 12 of a 14-lap race. It would appear that David Malukas and Anthony Ganji have the championship between them. It would appear that Philip Varner or Neil Verhagen is going to take the third podium step. Difference between them on the circuit is about 0.8 of a second, and that, by that I mean from second to third, the gap that you're looking at. Our television pictures capturing perfectly the difference that you've got in the dimensions. And oh, there was a little bit of a gamble there by Anthony Ganji. It was a safe gamble. It was a shot to nothing. There was no harm done. He's not getting any closer to the third place driver. The third place driver wasn't close enough to attack, but Anthony Ganji's decided that he's not waiting for any last lap, last bend heroics. He wants to get in front now. Here we go, last lap. There's the, 2 laps to go, 2 laps to go, 14-lap race. So 2 to go, 2 to go. Now, Anthony Ganji definitely serving notice that he's ready and wanting to get past the race leader. David Malukas leads, Anthony Ganji second. Philip Varner a lot closer in third place now, and Neil Verhagen fourth. We'll stay with these four because I'm certain that the champion and the 3 podium places are coming from these four. unless there's any kind of touching that takes anybody out. But really, after a great race like this, wouldn't wish that to be an outcome. David Malukas, Anthony Ganji Jr. Oh, and again, Ganji taking a different line. That was the line that previously Philip Varner was gaining an advantage on, and now Ganji trying to come to the side of David Malukas. He's not got there, but the other two have also joined forces. So this time it really is the last lap. One to go. Well, let's go for the finish. Who's going to be the one to be brave? And there's a move, and it's all gone wrong for Anthony Ganji. Oh, wow. And it's changed dramatically as Philip Varner sweeps in front of the other two. Well now, Philip Varner, Neil Verhagen. Oh, and a little bit of contact there. Well, it's a 14-lap race, but you could almost gamble on lap 14 being the only one of real significance, because all four of these in with a shout. Well, possibly three of the four. Philip Varner making a tremendous move late in the race and holding the advantage, but Verhagen goes past Neil Verhagen, but he's hung himself out to dry, and now he's lost that place, and coming through is that's David Malukas coming back, isn't it? Well, so many opportunities. Each one of these four had a shot at taking a significant lead, but coming down onto the home straight, it's not close now. The race is won, the checkered flag goes, and it's David Malukas who has to reflect on the disappointment of having been passed by both Neil Verhagen and Philip Varner when he was in what he would have felt was a winning position. Philip Varner is the champion, Neil Verhagen the runner-up, David Malukas making the podium.